अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स, उम्मीद है आप खैरियत से होंगे। आज हम प्रेजुडिस और डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का मुताला करेंगे, जिसका हमने पिछले लेक्चर में जिक्र शुरू किया था। सो लेट्स रिव्यू फर्स्ट द प्रीवियस लेक्चर। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी डिस्कस्ड द डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन प्रेजुडिस एंड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन। As far as prejudice is concerned, prejudice is a negative attitude toward any social group, while discrimination is a negative behavior toward that particular social group. As far as stereotypes are concerned, basically stereotypes determine attitude, prejudice and discrimination toward a social group. हम ये कह सकते हैं कि stereotypes जो हैं वो negative beliefs हैं, discrimination negative behavior है, और prejudice is actually negative attitude toward one particular social group, or maybe sometime it could be toward several social groups. इसके साथ ही हमने पिछले लेक्चर में ये भी डिस्कस किया था कि in different languages different pronouns are used to have a distinction between in group and out group. In group क्या होता है? In group हमारा अपना ग्रुप होता है and we have a feeling of loyalty toward that group. Out group बहुत से हो सकते हैं and we always think that out groups are similar to each other. वो सारे एक जैसे हैं, और while we are diverse, हम ये सोचते हैं कि जो हमारे ग्रुप के लोग हैं they are diverse, while other groups they are all alike. They are similar to each other. Then we also started talking about what are the factors that could influence prejudice and discrimination. There are several factors, for example, cognitive factors, emotional factors, and social factors, which could contribute to prejudice and then later on discriminatory behavior toward a social group. तो पिछले लेक्चर में हमने cognitive sources का मुताला किया, और उसके अलावा हमने इमोशनल सोर्सेज क्या होती हैं प्रेजुडिस और डिस्क्रिमिनेशन की, उनके बारे में बात की। जब हम ये कहते हैं कि कॉग्निटिव फैक्टर्स हैं या कोई भी इमोशनल फैक्टर्स हैं या सोशल फैक्टर्स हैं, तो उसमें एक चीज बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, और वो ये है कि वी कैटेगराइज पीपल इनटू डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज। और जब हम डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज में पीपल को डिवाइड करते हैं तो उससे फिर इन ग्रुप और आउट ग्रुप पैदा होते हैं। जब हम इन ग्रुप और आउट ग्रुप को बयान करते हैं तो उसके लिए हम डिफरेंट प्रोनाउंस यूज करते हैं। इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में फॉर एग्जांपल वी यूज वी, अस to designate our group, in group, or for talking about other groups we say they, them. Usually we have a negative attitude and discriminatory behavior toward out group, as I mentioned before. और हम आम तौर पर जब जिक्र करते हैं तो हम कहते हैं they are disrespectful, they are dangerous, they are ugly, they are smelly and so on. Sometimes we feel sorry for out group, but even then we usually think that we do not want them around us. और कभी कभार ये भी होता है कि these people who are they and them they are good people, लेकिन still we have a perception that they are different from us. अब बात करते हैं cognitive sources और emotional sources of prejudice की। As far as cognitive sources are concerned, we talked about categorizing people, जिसका भी मैंने पहले जिक्र किया था। Categorization की बेस आमतौर पर social groups होते हैं, और categorization is very essential for looking at our social world in a coherent and organized manner. So categorization actually is not prejudice, but it provides a basis for discrimination and prejudice. लेकिन categorization जो है that is very important for civilization, क्योंकि अगर हम categorize नहीं करेंगे चीजों को तो हम अपनी दुनिया को, अपनी social world को perceive कैसे करेंगे। जब हम categorize करते हैं लोगों को तो आमतौर पर we characterize them and we categorize them on the basis of several characteristics. For example, race, gender, social class, urban and rural residents and so on. Two biggest sources of categorization are two biggest kinds of categorization that provide basis for discrimination and prejudice are race and gender. इनकी बेस पर बहुत ज्यादा प्रेजुडिस जो है वो पाया जाता है और बहुत सारी रिसर्च जो है उस पर कंडक्ट हो चुकी है. So when we say we are categorizing people according to, for example, race and gender, then we have a perception that these groups are similar who are outgroup, and then we develop a sense of outgroup homogeneity effect. Homogeneity effect क्या होता है कि they are similar to each other and they are different from us. And we also talk that sometime we would have in-group homogeneity effect. जब हम ये समझते हैं कि बहुत सारे जो माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप्स हैं वो इकट्ठे हो गए एक जगह पर, तो हम उनको ओन करने लगते हैं. And we think that they are different from one out group and that could be majority. And then we also talked about functions of stereotypes, because as I said before, the stereotype could be the basis of prejudice and discrimination. So what are the functions of stereotype thinking? First of all, they provide us with a ready-made and quick response. हमें उसमें सोच विचार नहीं करनी पड़ती. So they are like cognitive misers. They provide a basis for ready-made response. Quickly हम respond करते हैं on the basis of the stereotypes that we are already holding against that particular social group. The other function is that they save our energy for other cognitive activities. So they provide resources, या ये कह सकते हैं कि they preserve our resources to be involved in other activities, क्योंकि हमारा ready-made answer जो है वो तैयार होता है on the basis of stereotypes. And that the third problem with stereotype thinking is that sometimes we ignore relevant information that is inconsistent with the stereotype because we want to ignore it and we do not want to pay attention to that particular aspect. अब उसके बाद ये देखते हैं कि ये इमोशनल फैक्टर्स कौन से होते हैं. सो दीज वर द कॉग्निटिव फैक्टर्स व्हेन वी कैटेगराइज पीपल इनटू डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज. As far as emotional sources of prejudice and discrimination are concerned, we can divide them into two categories. One is scapegoating and the other is authoritarian personality. Both have their psychoanalytic orientation. As far as scapegoating is concerned, we usually turn our anger toward a convenient source. कोई भी scapegoat जो है वो हम अपने पास अपने माहौल में ढूंढ लेते हैं. And studies have shown that in history people have used scapegoating when they were frustrated and they were hostile and they were aggressive. So usually क्या होता है कि जो भी convenient scapegoat मिलता है, our anger is turned toward that particular convenient scapegoat. उसके बाद authoritarian personality का जिक्र करते हैं. Psychoanalytic theory states that if you are brought up in a harsh kind of atmosphere when you are a child, then later on you could develop into a authoritarian personality. And studies have also shown that if people are having personality conflicts with their significant others when they were child, when they were younger, then later on they could develop into authoritarian personality. But the studies that have been conducted in the previous 20 years, they suggest the importance of social learning theory. And they state that people in their adolescence could also model authoritarian personalities in their environment, and they could also adopt these kind of characteristics on the basis of punishment and reward. Obviously, if they are rewarded for having that particular behavior, then they are more prone to acquire these kind of characteristics. So these were cognitive and emotional factors that could contribute to prejudice and discrimination. Let's talk today about social sources of prejudice and discrimination. Social sources can be divided into three factors. One is social inequalities. Social inequalities जो हैं वो कई तरह की हो सकती हैं, that people are not equal to each other. They are perceived as different from each other. अब inequality की basis क्या होती हैं? One is unequal status. People do not have the same status. आमतौर पर इससे मुराद social status मुराद ली जाती है. The second one is religion. People are different in their religious orientations, in their religious affiliations, and this also determines social inequality. And the third factor is stereotype threat, when people have a threat on the basis of the perceived stereotypes which are in other people's minds who are perceiving them. And then we will be also talking about social identity, and in social identity we'll be talking about the minimal group paradigm and social identity theory. And lastly, we will be talking about intergroup competitions that could also be involved in creating prejudice and discrimination. So let's first talk about social inequalities. Social inequalities, as I said before, there could be several types of social inequalities. And prejudice could spring from several factors, several social factors, because it serves many functions. So what are the functions which prejudice could serve? For example, prejudice can sometimes reduce our anxiety. Prejudice can boost our self-esteem. Prejudice can give us some confidence in social situation, and so on. So there are several social factors. One of them is social inequality, when people are not equal to each other on some dimension. And first of all, we'll be talking about unequal status. It has been shown that prejudice was greatest in region wherever in mankind's history slavery was practiced. So wherever there will be unequal status, people would have slavery in that particular region. तो इससे ये पता चलता है हमें कि prejudice जो है वो कितना ज़्यादा depend करता है when people are having unequal statuses. 19th century European politicians and writers actually justified imperial expansion by describing exploited colonized people as inferior, who require protection and a burden to be borne. So it means when people who are expanding their colonies or who are expanding their regime, they think that the people who are living in other regions, they are actually inferior. They are having a lower status than themselves. So this could lead to prejudice and discrimination, and then consequently to colonizing their regions. The other unequal status that could exist between human beings is on the basis of religion. Although all religions are well suited to reduce prejudice, and we can see that the religious ideology actually provides us a basis not to discriminate human beings. लेकिन उसके बावजूद हम ये देखते हैं कि on the basis of religion people discriminate people. दूसरे लोगों की तरफ उनका prejudice attitude होता है और उनका behavior जो है वो भी उसी के मुताबिक होता है. अगर हम इस्लाम की तालीमात पर गौर करें तो हमें ये पता चलता है कि इस्लाम stresses equality and justice, and same is true for other religions. इस्लाम में आपको पता है कि हकूकुल अबाद का कितना जिक्र है, and Islam stresses the rights of neighbors also. Maybe you would know that in Hajjatul Wada, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that no one has a superiority on any other person on the basis of race and color. And that is considered a universal charter of human rights because of the teachings he gave us at that time. तो अगर हम ये देखें तो सारे रिलीजन्स जो हैं इस्लाम के अलावा भी वो इक्वालिटी का लेसन देते हैं, बट स्टडीज हैव शोन entirely different results. For example, studies have shown that strong religious beliefs tend to be associated with prejudice, and that has been shown in a number of studies. For example, one study was conducted by Esinga et al. In 1990, and that was a survey of 1799 people, and that showed that people who have strong religious beliefs, they are high in prejudice. Similarly, in a review of 34 studies, Betson and Ventis showed in 1982 that religious people are more prejudiced and they hold discriminatory attitude and behavior toward other people. And then there is a distinction between intrinsically and extrinsically religious people. Some people say that if you are intrinsically religious, then you will be less prejudiced. Intrinsically religious कौन से होते हैं? Who are self-motivated to practice any teaching of the particular religion which they are following. और वो दिल से जो है वो उन तालीमात पर अमल करते हैं और they are practicing religious teachings. इसके बरक्स जो एक्सट्रिंसिकली जो है वो यूजुअली जो है वो अपने दूसरे लोग कर रहे हैं तो उनको करना चाहिए और वो उसके बारे में बहुत सोच विचार और के बाद नहीं फैसला करते, बल्कि वो as everybody is doing so, they were brought up in a particular religious family, that's why they are practicing it. So studies documented that maybe those people who are intrinsically religious, they may be less prejudiced. Lekin some other studies found different results. And what did they find? They found that although intrinsically religious prove less prejudiced on questionnaires, but they appear to be equally prejudiced when they are measured behaviorally. यानी क्वेश्चनियर्स पर तो आप रिलीजियस जो लोग हैं इंट्रिंसिकली वो लेस प्रेजुडिस्ड दिखाई देते हैं, क्योंकि मैंने बड़ी दफा आपसे जिक्र किया है कि क्वेश्चनियर्स जो हैं दे मे नॉट बी एक्यूरेट एंड वैलिड वे ऑफ knowing about people's attitude because of the social desirability factor, because people want to leave a desirable impact on other people. लेकिन जब उनको behaviorally देखा गया तो they were more prejudiced or they were equally prejudiced if they are to be compared with extrinsically religious people. So if I ask you to look at the situation in Pakistan, you would also notice that different religious groups, they hold prejudiced attitude and discriminatory behavior toward other social and religious groups. तो कई दफा तो अपने मफाद के लिए जो है वो एक दूसरे की जो है वो लेग पुलिंग भी की जा रही होती है. So we can say that we perhaps have enough religion to hate each other, but may not have enough religion to love one another. And same is true with other religious groups, because people use religion sometime to use for their own purposes. Another factor which is important as far as social inequality is concerned is stereotype threat. What is stereotype threat? It is a self-confirming apprehension that one will be evaluated based on a negative stereotype. So you have a threat in your mind that you will be evaluated on the negative stereotype that somebody is holding against you. One experiment was done by Spencer and Quinn in 1999, and they gave a difficult math test to men and women with different instructions. अब ये different instructions क्या थी कि they made two groups. एक ग्रुप को उन्होंने पहले ये बताया कि जो ये मैथ का टेस्ट है, men perform better than women in that particular test. दूसरे ग्रुप को उन्होंने ये बताया कि women or men are equal in this on this math test. अब उन्होंने इसमें ये इफेक्ट के पहले आप ये बताते हैं कि men are better on this math test and then you tell the same group that women or men are better, तो उससे फिर एक प्रैक्टिस इफेक्ट भी हो जाता है. तो उसको दूर करने के लिए उन्होंने क्या किया कि एक और ग्रुप जो था उसको पहले ये बताया, उसको भी आधे एक यानी पहले से दो ग्रुप बना लिए, एक को तो इसी ऑर्डर में जो मैंने अभी बात की थी उसी ऑर्डर में इंस्ट्रक्शंस दी, और दूसरे ग्रुप को उन्होंने पहले ये बताया कि men and women are actually on this math test, and on the second occasion they were told that men perform better than women on this particular math test. अब आप ये देखें कि इसमें क्रॉस ओवर डिजाइन है, यानी एक ग्रुप को तो पहले डिफरेंट इंस्ट्रक्शंस दी जाती हैं जबकि दूसरे ग्रुप को उसके ऑपोजिट इंस्ट्रक्शंस पहले दी जाती हैं ताकि प्रैक्टिस इफेक्ट जो है उसको जायल किया जा सके. As far as math test on both occasions were concerned, math test was in difficulty level it was exactly same, क्योंकि उन्होंने एक ही टेस्ट के दो हिस्से कर लिए थे, but participants were told that they are different tests. So what were the results? As you can see in this graph that when men and women were told that men will perform better, men had significantly higher performance on this particular math test. While on the other occasion, when they were told that on this math test there are no gender differences, then their performance are nearly equal. So it means if people have stereotype threat, then it will affect their performance also. What is the relationship between stereotype threat and self-fulfilling prophecy? The effects of stereotype threat are actually immediate. फौरन ही आपको उसके इफेक्ट्स जो हैं होते हैं. जैसे अभी हमने ये एक मिसाल देखी एक्सपेरिमेंट की जिसमें men and women were told that they will be performing differently, they will be performing equally, तो फौरन ही उन पर इस थ्रेट का असर हुआ. While self-fulfilling prophecy actually hammers one's reputation in one's self-concept, so that is deeply ingrained through different experiences in one's self-concept. So studies have shown that when difficult verbal tests are administered to black and white, they perform differently. And the reason is that it is usually believed that black people are inferior to white people as far as verbal comprehension is concerned. And that study was conducted by Stelle and Aronson in 1995. So they have taken this in their self-concept that yes, they are inferior. हालांकि वैसे कोई एविडेंस आपको नहीं मिलता कि why they shall be inferior as far as verbal learning and verbal ability is concerned. Similarly, another study which was conducted by Stone et al. In 1999, it showed that stereotype threat can also affect athletic performance. और इस स्टडी में क्या किया गया था, ब्लैक एंड वाइट पीपल वर टेस्टेड ऑन देयर गोल्फ अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड एबिलिटी, और गोल्फ टेस्ट उनको एक दिया गया और एक ग्रुप को ये बताया गया कि दिस इज अ टेस्ट ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स इंटेलिजेंस, and the other group was told that it is a test of natural athletic ability. So what do you think, where black people would be performing better than white people? Actually, white people performed better when they were told that it is a test of natural athletic ability, while white people showed outstanding performance when they were told that it is a sports intelligence test. So what is the reason for the difference in these two kinds of conditions? The difference is that people have a stereotype that black people are having lower intelligence due to genetic reasons as compared to white generations. और इसके बरक्स ये समझा जाता है कि जो black people हैं, they are higher as far as physical performance and physical abilities are concerned. So you can see कि how could this affect their performance, कि ये self fulfilling prophecy जो है, they would have adopted their behavior according to whatever other people are perceiving them as, और वो उन stereotypes के मुताबिक ही उनकी performance जो है वो change हो जाती है. In this diagram you can see that how stereotypes can act as self-fulfilling prophecy. What happens that a stereotype holder has actually some belief, and that stereotype holder acts according to that belief, तो उसका behavior भी उसके मुताबिक होता है toward the target person, and then stereotype holder and others perceive target person as confirming stereotype, and then eventually target person accepts stereotype about self. जिस तरह का दूसरों का attitude होता है and what other people expect from him, he starts behaving in the same way. So this was about social inequalities, and in social inequalities we talked about stereotype threat and differences on the basis of religion and social status. So now let's talk about the other dimension of social factors contributing to prejudice and discrimination, and this is social identity. Social identity क्या है? Social identity, what we think of ourselves. हम अपने बारे में क्या जानते हैं, क्या सोचते हैं, what is our self-concept. Self-concept contains not just a personal identity but a social identity. हमारा जो self-concept है, that has two elements. One is personal identity and the other is social identity. और social identity जो है, that becomes a part of ourself because of that reason. Actually, human beings are group-bound species. They have learned to stay in groups and to protect themselves. And that develops their social identity because they are affiliated with one particular group. Human beings actually like and they have learned to stay in groups. They live for their groups, they can kill for their groups and they can die for their groups. इसकी बहुत सारी मिसालें आपको आम जिंदगी में नजर आती होंगी. How much affiliation people show towards their own group. और इसी से सोशल आइडेंटिटीज जो हैं वो डेवलप होती हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप एक यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ते हैं, सो यू परसीव योर सेल्फ बिलोंगिंग टू दैट यूनिवर्सिटी, सो दिस इज योर सोशल आइडेंटिटी. देन यू अटेंड सम पर्टिकुलर सोशल ग्रुप, जैसे रोटरी क्लब है, तो फिर आपकी एफिलिएशन उसके साथ बन जाती है. तो इस तरह से हमारी सोशल आइडेंटिटीज डेवलप होती हैं. जैसे कि मैं कह सकती हूँ कि आई एम अ प्रोफेसर, ये मेरी सोशल आइडेंटिटी है. आई एम एजुकेशनिस्ट, तो एजुकेशनल जो ग्रुप है उसके साथ मेरी वाबस्तगी शो होती है, एंड सो ऑन. सो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दीज आइडेंटिटीज वी मेक कैटेगराइजेशन ऑफ पीपल, एंड सिंपल एक्ट ऑफ कैटेगराइजिंग पीपल एज इन ग्रुप और आउट ग्रुप मेंबर्स अफेक्ट्स हाउ वी इवेलुएट एंड कंपेयर देम. तो इसी से फिर आउट ग्रुप और इन ग्रुप पैदा होते हैं, एंड दैट प्रोवाइड्स अ बेसिस दैट हाउ वी विल बी इवेलुएटिंग देम. इन ग्रुप बायस और आउट ग्रुप बायस भी इसी से इमर्ज होते हैं. इन ग्रुप बायस क्या होता है? इन ग्रुप बायस एक्चुअली रेफर्स टू द टेंडेंसी टू गिव मोर फेवरेबल इवैल्यूएशंस एंड ग्रेटर रिवॉर्ड्स टू इन ग्रुप मेंबर्स देन टू आउट ग्रुप वंस. और इसके बरक्स जो आउट ग्रुप है, ऑब्वियसली दे वुड हैव बायसेस फॉर द इन ग्रुप, क्योंकि उनके लिए अपना आउट ग्रुप जो है वो दैट विल बी इन ग्रुप. और दे विल बी हैविंग अ डिफरेंट, जो हमने अभी डेफिनेशन दी है कि इन ग्रुप बायस होता है कि आप उनकी तरफ ज्यादा लॉयल्टी फील करते हैं अपने मेंबर्स की तरफ, और आप उनको जब भी मौका मिले तो यू गिव ग्रेटर रिवॉर्ड्स टू देम। एज फार एज आउट ग्रुप इज कंसर्न, इसके ऑपोजिट बिहेवियर आप देख लें कि हम उनको कम रिवॉर्ड देंगे और उनकी तरफ हम प्रेजुडिस और डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी बिहेवियर शो करेंगे। सो हु इज द मेंबर ऑफ इन ग्रुप एंड हु इज द मेंबर ऑफ आउट ग्रुप? इन ग्रुप मेंबर वो होता है हु शेयर्स कैटेगरी मेंबरशिप विद द परसीवर। आउट ग्रुप मेंबर वो होता है हु शेयर्स आउट ग्रुप कैटेगरी एंड दैट पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी मेंबरशिप विद द परसीवर। तो उसके मुताबिक उसको मेंबर ऑफ आउट ग्रुप और मेंबर ऑफ इन ग्रुप समझा जाता है। जनरली इट हैज बीन शोन दैट रेसिज्म and sexism are the widespread category-based prejudice and discrimination. Although there are several categories which can divide people into different groups, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी जो हमें प्रॉब्लम नजर आती है as far as prejudice and discrimination are concerned, ये बड़ी categories जो हैं on the basis of race and gender, they provide the main basis for prejudice and discrimination in the world. इस डायग्राम में देखें, सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट वुड हैव टू काइंड ऑफ आइडेंटिटीज, personal identity, social identity. Personal identity, for example, someone is daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Amjad, then she is roommate of Kiran, she is a class fellow of maybe Sugra, and then etc. और फैक्टर्स भी हो सकते हैं। और इसी तरीके से अगर हम सोशल आइडेंटिटी देखते हैं तो she is पाकिस्तानी, she is Muslim, she has joined Rotary Club, and other factors could also contribute in making one's social identity. As far as social identity is concerned, minimal group paradigm has acquired considerable attention from researchers, and that was presented by Tejfel et al. In 1971. Minimal group paradigm states that group membership is sufficient to foster group favoritism. यानी एक जस्ट मेंबरशिप की बेस पर आप ग्रुप फेवरेटिज्म करने लगते हैं और कोई वजह नहीं होती व्हाई यू विल बी फेवरिंग योर ग्रुप, एक जस्ट मेंबरशिप की बेस पर। अब ये देखते हैं कि जस्ट मेंबरशिप क्या है। They did one experiment in which participants were allocated to two groups on an arbitrary basis. They did not have any attachment before that experiment started with each other. They did not know each other. Participants had no social relationships before that experiment was started. So arbitrary basis पर एक A group बना दिया गया, एक B group बना दिया गया, and their identities in other groups were unknown. यानी कि उनकी और क्या identities हैं ये नहीं पता था किसी को. They just arbitrarily were divided into two groups. And then what they have to do, they have to allocate money to people in the two groups. And they could not allocate money to self. अपने आप को पैसे नहीं दे सकते थे, लेकिन उन्होंने दो ग्रुप्स को देनी थी। एक समझ लें कि ग्रुप ए है और एक ग्रुप बी है। So the result showed a persistent tendency to allocate more points to their own group than the out group. So the results also showed that mere categorization is sufficient to elicit intergroup bias. And Breuer said in 1979 that this has been proved a very robust finding. When we say robust finding, it means that other studies have shown the same results. So what happened here, that people were just divided into two categories for the sake of that experiment, and they started feeling affiliation toward their own group, and they categorized the other group as out group and their group as in group. So what happens here then when people do not have any cultural, religious or social background for the basis of that division, or they just start feeling affiliation toward the group to which they are nominated to work particularly for that experiment. एक और स्टडी का जिक्र करते हैं. That study was conducted by Bellage and Tejfel in 1973, and this time they used a slightly different methodology. अब slightly different methodology क्या है कि original minimal group paradigm was retained, और उन्होंने कैटेगराइजेशन इस दफा जो थी वो दो बेसिस पर की. एक बेसिस क्या थी कि those people who like certain paintings, they were divided into two groups. एक वो ग्रुप था जिसमें they would like दोज पेंटिंग्स, और दूसरा ग्रुप वो था जो कि जिनको वो पेंटिंग्स पसंद नहीं थी. तो ये तो एक तरह की कैटेगराइजेशन हो गई ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ बिलीफ सिमिलैरिटी. अब बिलीफ्स उनके सिमिलर थे कि दीज पेंटिंग्स आर गुड, और अदर ग्रुप सेड नो, दीज पेंटिंग्स आर नॉट गुड एंड दे डू नॉट लाइक देम. तो ये यहाँ पे जो कैटेगराइजेशन है दैट इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ बिलीफ सिस्टम. सो देयर बिलीफ्स वर सिमिलर. जो दूसरी कैटेगराइजेशन थी दैट वाज ट्रूली मिनिमल ग्रुप पैराडाइम के मुताबिक थी. और उन्होंने कैसे किया, कॉइन को टॉस कर लिया और उसके मुताबिक जो था वो हाफ ऑफ द ग्रुप वाज considered A and the other half was considered B. And they were asked to allocate rewards to their group people and to people of other group. So what were the results? यहाँ पर आपको जो डायग्राम में y एक्सिस पर पॉइंट्स नजर आ रहे हैं, ये पॉइंट्स असल में हैं कि इन ग्रुप रिवॉर्ड्स माइनस आउट ग्रुप रिवॉर्ड्स, यानी जितने रिवॉर्ड्स इन ग्रुप को दिए गए और आउट ग्रुप के मेंबर्स को दिए गए उसको माइनस करके वो एक्सेस अवार्ड्स निकलेंगे जो कि इन ग्रुप को एलोकेट किए गए. सो दिस एक्चुअली बार्स शो द एक्सेस ऑफ रिवॉर्ड्स गिवन टू इन ग्रुप, एंड यू कैन सी व्हेन देयर वाज नो सिमिलैरिटी, mere categorization, even people allocated more rewards to their own group. Or when they had similarity on the basis of that belief that paintings are good or not, then this difference become very huge. So you can say that चले इसकी तो कोई अहमियत है कि भाई एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप को पेंटिंग्स पसंद है, दूसरे को नहीं पसंद, तो वो अच्छा फील करते हैं कि ये हमारी तरह के लोग. लेकिन what is the basis of mere categorization when you divide people on the basis of just tossing of a coin? So this is a very serious issue. और serious issue इसके फवायद भी कुछ हो सकते हैं कि people start feeling very affiliated with the group, उसको immediately जिसमें डाला गया हो. लेकिन उसके serious consequences भी हैं कि why people feel prejudice for those people who are separate from them just on the arbitrary basis. What is actually social identity theory? That theory was presented by Techwell and Turner in 1979, and according to that theory, people seek to enhance their self-esteem by identifying with specific social groups and perceiving these groups as being better than others. So you can say that categorization provides people a way to increase their self-esteem. As I said before, कि जो self-concept है, that is not a personal self-concept only, that has a social dimension also. तो जब social dimension इसमें शामिल है तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हमारी जो self-esteem है, that is partly determined by the social esteem of the group, or we will feel enjoy on the victory of our own group. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हमारे ग्रुप को जो फतूहात होती हैं हम उसमें बड़ी खुशी महसूस करते हैं और इसीलिए दूसरे ग्रुप से, आउट ग्रुप से जेलसीज भी होती हैं. So this is the reason that we indulge in group biases when the social esteem of our group is threatened. ज्यादातर बाइसेस उस वक्त हो जाते हैं जब आपको ये लगता है कि आपके ग्रुप को कोई थ्रेट हो रही है. And it has also been shown that the strength of identification with a particular group will indicate levels of bias. यानी आपका जो bias है that will be determined how strongly you are identifying with your own group. Social identity में एक बड़ी important चीज जो है वो intergroup competition भी है. बेशक ये उससे एक अलग फैक्टर है and it is one dimension of social sources of prejudice and discrimination, लेकिन ये social identities बनने के बाद ही intergroup competitions जो हैं वो start होते हैं and it could give rise to intergroup conflicts. That intergroup competition gave rise to several theories and several researches. और इससे एक theory भी बनी that is called realistic group conflict theory that was basically presented by Sharif. अब realistic group conflict theory क्या है कि intergroup conflict develops due to competition for scarce sources. Levine and Campbell talked about that in 1972. कि जब हमारे पास resources कम होते हैं and there are several groups who are having competition, then they develop conflict with each other due to the scarce sources they are competing for. There are two important changes that occur in this intergroup conflict. वो क्या चेंजेस हैं? लेट्स सी देम. One is that there is increased hostility toward the opposing outgroup. When you are competing for the meager resources which are available to both groups, then there is increased hostility toward the outgroup. And then there is intensification of in-group loyalty also. Or this intensification of in-group loyalty is called ethnocentrism. When you are feeling very loyal towards your own group, but you are hostile toward the other group. जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि ये इस थ्योरी पर बहुत सारा काम शेरिफ ने किया. He conducted a lot of experiments, और जो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स थे उनको कहा जाता है समर कैंप रॉबर्स केव experiments. The reason is that they were conducted at a place which was called Robbers Cave State Park, and that place was actually 150 kilometers northeast of Oklahoma City of USA. और रिसर्चर्स ने क्या किया कि they specially built a summer camp over there for these experiments, और उन्होंने 200 acre area पर ये summer camp बनाया for their experiments, and the participants were all boys in that summer camp. They were 20 well-adjusted 11 to 12 years old boys. They were divided into two groups. अब यहाँ आने से पहले बच्चे एक दूसरे को नहीं जानते थे. They did not have any social interaction. They were divided into two groups, and then they were having unobtrusive observation by camp counselors. ये जो camp counselors थे, actually they were researchers. ये act कर रहे थे as being those camp counselors, ताकि वो उनकी जो ऑब्जर्वेशन है उसमें कोई मुदाखलत फील ना हो बच्चों को, और जब भी वो कोई मसला हो तो वो कहा जाता था कि ये काउंसलर्स हैं, आप इनसे रिज्यू कर लें. सो दीज एक्सपेरिमेंट्स हैज एक्चुअली 3 phases. द फर्स्ट फेज वाज रिलेटेड विद क्रिएटिंग इन ग्रुप्स. पहले फेज में क्या किया गया कि इन ग्रुप डायमेंशन क्रिएट की गई, क्योंकि अभी इन ग्रुप तो वो नहीं बने, अभी तो बच्चे लाए गए हैं, और इन ग्रुप क्रिएशन कैसे की जाती है अभी देखते हैं. The second group was concerned with instilling intergroup competition, and the third phase was actually encouraging intergroup cooperation. So what happened in the first phase, which was actually related with creating in-groups? For creating in-groups, क्योंकि उनको 2 ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड किया गया था बच्चों को, तो 20 बच्चे थे तो समझ लें 10-10 बच्चे जो हैं वो 2 ग्रुप्स में आ गए. So for creating a feeling of in-group, they were asked to perform different activities mutually. अब इकट्ठे वो क्या काम कर रहे हैं? They were asked to look for hidden treasures. कहीं पर कोई चीज छुपाई हुई है, क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा एरिया है उस पार्क में, तो उनको कहा कि भाई ये आपने मिलकर ढूंढनी है हर ग्रुप को अपने तौर पर. They were asked to prepare meals, इकट्ठे बनाएं, और उसके बाद फॉर एग्जाम्पल पिचिंग देयर टेंट्स, अपने टेंट्स को खड़ा करें, और इसके अलावा इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज में उनको इन्वॉल्व किया गया, जिससे इन ग्रुप कॉन्सेप्ट जो था विद इन ईच ग्रुप इमर्ज्ड, एंड इट वाज सीन दैट दे सून डेवलप्ड यूनिक आइडेंटिटीज. एंड यूनिक आइडेंटिटीज वर कि उन्होंने अपने ग्रुप्स के नाम भी रख लिए. वन ग्रुप कॉल्ड देम रेटलर्स एंड द अदर ग्रुप कॉल्ड देम ईगल्स, कि उन्होंने अपने ग्रुप लीडर जो थे वो भी डिसाइड कर लिए. अब जो रेटलर्स थे, दे हैड अ tough guy kind of image for their group, and they most of the time were involved in swearing and cursing each other. जैसे एक particular group जो है वो फिर एक ही तरह का बन जाता है. And remember, they were well behaved adjusted children when the experiment was started, and it was also seen that they started making clear and undeniable in group out group statements. अब इससे क्या मुराद है कि उन्होंने ऐसी स्टेटमेंट्स भी देनी शुरू कर दी जिससे पता चलता था कि भाई उनका अपना ग्रुप कौन सा है और दूसरा ग्रुप कौन सा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, चिल्ड्रन हु बिलोंग टू वन पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप, दे वुड बी सेइंग कि ये जो दूसरा ग्रुप है ये हमारा स्विमिंग पूल की जगह यूज कर रहे हैं, ये हमारा जो है वो बेसबॉल की जगह जो है, दे आर यूजिंग आवर बेसबॉल प्लेस. तो दे वर मेकिंग दीज काइंड ऑफ स्टेटमेंट्स व्हिच वुड बी डेजिग्नेट द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इन ग्रुप एंड आउट ग्रुप. सो लेट्स नाउ टॉक अबाउट द सेकंड फेज. The second phase was concerned with creating intergroup competitions, and researchers made hypothesis that intergroup competition would cause prejudice. And what they did, they actually arranged 10 athletic events which were week-long tournaments and they were held between both groups, Rattlers and Eagles. और ये जो 10 एथलेटिक इवेंट्स थे उसमें हर जो मेंबर हर ग्रुप का था उसको जीतने पर सर्टेन पॉइंट्स मिलते थे और उसके बाद जो था whichever group would have maximum points they would get very impressive medals और उसके साथ जो था वो जो भी ग्रुप जीतता था उसके मेंबर्स को फिर 4 bladed जो पॉकेट साइज नाइफ्स हैं वो मिलते थे क्योंकि ये लड़के थे तो उनकी अट्रैक्शन की चीज जो है वो उन्होंने रिवॉर्ड के तौर पर रखी थी. तो बाय द एंड ऑफ दीज इंटरग्रुप competitions it was seen that intergroup conflict transformed those normal well-adjusted boys, according to Sheriff, into wicked, disturbed and vicious youngsters. अब कितनी हैरत की बात है कि because these children were these children were very normal, adjusted youngsters before that experiment was started. और अब आप ये कहेंगे कि इसमें हैरत की क्या बात है क्योंकि कंपटीशन हुआ और उसके बाद जो था उन्होंने कैसे वो ट्रांसफॉर्म हुए कितने विशियस बन गए. सो लेट्स सी दैट देयर वाज ड्रामेटिक इंक्रीज इन डेरोगेशन ऑफ द अदर ग्रुप. दे वर कॉलिंग देम अदर पीपल ऑफ अदर ग्रुप बाय बैड नेम्स. फॉर एग्जांपल they were calling members of other group by these names, for example pig, stinkers, sneaky, cheaters, etc. और अपने ग्रुप के बारे में वो कह रहे थे जिस तरह के लफ्ज जैसे he is friendly, he is brave, he is rather tough. तो इस तरह के अल्फाज वो अपने ग्रुप के लिए यूज कर रहे थे and they were calling out group members by derogatory names. But there was one byproduct of intergroup hostility and that was that there was an increase in in-group loyalty. एक अच्छा पहलू जो है वो हमें नजर आता है कि if there was a hostile attitude toward out group तो उसी तरह हमें ये भी नजर आता है कि अपने ग्रुप की तरफ children became very loyal. And then this intergroup hostility escalated from name calling to acts of physical aggression. That is why Sheriff said that this intergroup competition turned those well-adjusted boys into vicious youngsters. अब उन्होंने जो aggressive acts थे वो कौन-कौन से दिखाए वहां पर. Generally उस वक्त ये था कि in the beginning eagles were winning. और उससे जो था the other group who were rattlers they became frustrated. और rattlers ने क्या किया कि जो eagles थे उनके फ्लैग्स जला दिए. और अब आप ये देखें कि ये उन्होंने अपनी आइडेंटिटी इतनी डेवलप कर ली थी कि उन्होंने फ्लैग्स भी अपने अपने बना लिए थे. तो ईगल्स के फ्लैग्स जो थे वो रेटलर्स ने डिस्ट्रॉय किए. देन ईगल्स केम टू रेटलर्स कैंप्स, दे रेडेड देयर एंड देन दे ओवरटर्न्ड देयर कॉट्स. और उसके अलावा उन्होंने जो थे वो उनके मॉस्किटो नेट्स को रेप कर दिया. एंड द नेक्स्ट डे द अदर ग्रुप केम टू टेक द रिवेंज. सो दिस वाज द बिहेवियर दैट दोज चिल्ड्रन वर शोइंग who were actually very well-adjusted and normal children. So what was the phase 3? In the phase 3, researchers tried to reverse the hostility. कि अब क्या किया जाए, hostility को कैसे खत्म किया जाए? So they sought to determine whether simple, non-competitive contact between the groups would ease tension. So now if there is no competition, whether it would ease any kind of conflict, whether it would ease the hostility toward each other or not. तो किस तरह की नॉन कॉम्पिटिटिव एक्टिविटीज थी जैसे उनको खाना खिलाने के लिए इकट्ठा बिठा दिया और फिर उनको मूवी देखने के लिए एक ही जगह पर बुला लिया गया. But it did not prove to be helpful because both groups used each interaction as an opportunity to merely increase their animosity. And it was seen that it was not helpful because सिर्फ कॉन्टेक्ट से कोई फायदा हासिल नहीं हुआ. तो फिर अब रिसर्चर्स क्या करते हैं, लेट्स सी दैट. So for conflict reduction, they worked on superordinate goals. So working on this paradigm, researchers indulge children in mutual activities. इसके लिए एक मिसाल देती हूँ आपको कि क्या किस तरह की एक्टिविटी स्टार्ट की गई. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दोपहर के वक्त लंच टाइम पर बस खराब हो जाती है and they indulge them in working together that how that bus could be started. तो सारे बच्चे जो हैं वो मिलके उसको बस को जब धक्का लगाएंगे तो उसके बाद जो है वो बस स्टार्ट होगी. So this kind of activities were actually initiated to involve them in mutual activities which could be leading them to a शेयर्ड गोल कि बस चलेगी तो फिर आगे जो है वो काम स्टार्ट होगा. And the results showed that these kind of activities actually had a decrease in out-group derogation. But the question is that can merely being a member of a certain group promote intergroup bias? क्या सिर्फ आप एक ग्रुप की मेंबरशिप की वजह से लोगों की तरफ तासुब वाला रवैया रखना शुरू कर देते हैं? The answer is yes. Recent studies have shown that mere perception of conflict is often sufficient to fuel intolerance. And Zaretti et al. Showed that in 2004. So इसका मतलब ये है कि intergroup conflict could arise in people because of competition and just on the basis of membership of a particular group. And that also confirms realistic group conflict theory, which states that if there are meager resources and people who are having competition to get those resources, then intergroup conflicts will be created. और इंटरग्रुप कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स के बाद आपने उस मिसाल में जो अभी मैंने आपको शेरिफ की स्टडी की मिसाल दी कि किस तरह का बिहेवियर जो है पीपल कैन चेंज. दीज चिल्ड्रन वर वेरी adjusted children, normal children, and they were transformed into very competitive, according to Sheriff, vicious youngsters. So let's review today's lecture. Today we talked about social sources of prejudice and discrimination. And we talked about three kinds of social sources. One was social inequalities, second was social identity, and the third was social competition. As far as social identity is concerned, people could develop different social identities in group or out group. और ये जो identities हैं वही बेस बनती हैं sometime social group जो inequalities होती हैं, जो कि पहली dimension है social sources की. तो पहले बात करते हैं जो आज हमने पढ़ी है inequalities की क्या क्या inequalities हो सकती हैं लोगों में. People could be unequal in their social status. Or studies have shown that if people are unequal in social status from each other, then it could give rise to prejudice and discrimination. और अगर आप आम जिंदगी में भी देखें तो आपको बहुत ज़्यादा तअस्सुब नज़र आएगा अमीर लोगों का गरीबों की तरफ, मिडिल क्लास का गरीबों की तरफ एंड सो ऑन. दूसरा जो डिफरेंस हो सकता है लोगों में, दैट कुड बी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिलीजन. ऑल्दो रिलीजियस आइडियोलॉजी टेल्स अस नॉट टू बायस, not to be prejudiced against people, and we can see that all religious ideologies are similar to each other. सारा जो religions हैं वो यही कहते हैं कि they promote justice and they promote unequality between human beings. और इस्लाम में तो हम देखते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा social justice पर जोर दिया गया है. इसी सिलसिले में हम कह सकते हैं कि a lot of stress has been placed on human rights, lot of stress has been placed on unequal status between people and rights of neighbors. लेकिन उसके बावजूद studies have shown that people who are having strong religious beliefs, they tend to be higher in prejudice and discriminatory behavior. Although there are certain religious ideologies which could contradict these kind of findings, और बज़ाहिर हमें ये लगेगा कि इस तरह की findings नहीं आएंगी. That is why people started talking about difference between intrinsically and extrinsically religious people. तो शुरू की जो findings थी, they showed that people who are intrinsically religious, they are less prejudiced. लेकिन बाद वाली studies ने ये show किया कि people who are intrinsically religious, they may appear less prejudiced as far as questionnaire measurement is concerned. But when they are behaviorally observed, then they are not different from those people who are extrinsically religious. Then the third dimension of social inequality is stereotype threat. Stereotype threat is that we think that we will be perceived lower on the basis of the stereotype that the other person is holding in his mind. और ये देखा गया है experiments में कि if people are having stereotype threat, then it's going to affect their performance because they are afraid that they will be perceived in the light of those stereotypes. अब इसके अलावा हमने सोशल इनइक्वालिटीज के अलावा कुछ और सोशल फैक्टर्स का भी जिक्र किया था. द सेकंड वन वाज सोशल आइडेंटिटी. सोशल आइडेंटिटी इज इन फैक्ट अ पार्ट ऑफ वन सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट. दो तरह के सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट हो सकते हैं. वन इज सोशल आइडेंटिटी एंड द अदर इज पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी. people have learned to live in groups and they enjoy with their affiliations with their own groups. जब सोशल आइडेंटिटी डेवलप होती है तो उसके बाद इन ग्रुप और आउट ग्रुप का फिनोमेना पैदा होता है. एंड देन वी टॉक्ड अबाउट मिनिमल ग्रुप पैराडाइम. Minimal group paradigm states that if you are having a categorization of being affiliated with one group, so just being affiliated, just being nominated for that group, you develop certain kind of loyalty for that particular group. और हमने आज studies में ये देखा कि mere categorization on the basis of just tossing a coin could induce symptoms and feelings of loyalty in people. और उसके बाद हमने थोड़ा सा बात की सोशल आइडेंटिटी थ्योरी के बारे में. दैट वाज प्रेजेंटेड बाय टेचफुल एंड ही स्टेटेड दैट व्हेन पीपल आर हैविंग सोशल आइडेंटिटी एंड बिलोंगिंगनेस विद अ सर्टेन ग्रुप देन इट बूस्ट देयर सेल्फ एस्टीम. एंड व्हाई people have an increase in their self-esteem by identification with a particular group is because self-esteem is also related with social esteem of the group, or both are the part of one's self-concept. And then finally we talked about intergroup competitions. Studies showed when people are involved in intergroup competitions, and especially if there are resources which are less, are meager, then people develop intergroup conflicts. And these kind of intergroup conflicts create hostility between different groups and could lead sometime to drastic consequences. And then we also talked about how these prejudice and discriminatory behavior could be reduced. तो शेरिफ के एक्सपेरिमेंट में आज हमने ये देखा कि सिंपल कॉन्टैक्ट इज नॉट इनफ फॉर रिड्यूसिंग कॉन्टैक्ट, बल्कि कुछ ऐसी गोल्स होनी चाहिए जिनके लिए मिलकर काम किया जाए. सो व्हाट वी कैन डू दैट वी कैन इंडल्ज पीपल इन दीज काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज which they are sharing with each other and then they are leading them toward mutual goals. और अगले लेक्चर जो है हमारा उसका टॉपिक भी यही होगा कि हाउ वी कैन रिड्यूस प्रेजुडिस एंड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. अगले लेक्चर तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज.